In India, a Catholic priest died earlier this week after spending the past 8 months in jail on terror charges. Father Stan Swamy denied the charges. The 84-year-old Jesuit says he was being targeted by the government for his activism on behalf of India's poor and members of its lowest castes. He died several days before his bail hearing. And joining us now is Nadine Maenza, Commissioner for the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom. Nadine, welcome back. Good to be with you. USCIRF has condemned what it describes as the deliberate neglect and targeting of Father Swamy. For those who may not be familiar, can you tell us more about this case and how you believe his rights were violated?
Yes, so in October 2020, Father Swamy was arrested alongside 15 other activists and academics and charged with terrorism under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, which is called the UAPA, for suspicion of ties to organizations accused of instigating violence in 2018. So following the eruption of violence between low-caste Dalits and right-wing Hindu groups, Indian authorities alleged that those arrests had been linked to Maoist rebels, who are also active in several states. Now, Father Swamy has maintained his innocence and rejected any links to these rebels, and certainly there's no proof that we have seen that there is any way that he is connected. But it appears that he was targeted over his work and writings on caste injustice, struggles faced by marginal groups. So we have seen that this law being used to detain other advocates, the media, academics, religious minorities. So this seems to be more of the same, which are these kind of laws that India has instituted. We're also seeing the same sort of thing with the anti-conversion laws, where they really have these laws in the books that they use to oppress either religious minority groups or advocates for them, or anyone that's speaking out. And so, unfortunately, he was arrested. He, has Parkinson's disease, 84 years old, already had compromised health. He's been denied bail. He did get very sick in May. They denied bail. And so seeing pictures of him with chains to in a hospital bed with an oxygen tank, it was really disturbing. Clearly, he was not a flight risk and, should have been released.
Yeah, and Nadine, what has been the reaction to the news of his death in India and also around the world? What have you heard?
It has been wide condemnation. We've had condemnation from the State Department here. We've seen the United Nations condemn, other UK condemn as well. So it's been a very wide range of condemnation that an older sick man during COVID would be imprisoned in these conditions. Never had a conviction, never had a trial. So he was really in detention all this time, really in dangerous conditions, and really didn't get medical care until the very end of his life. And even then, as I said, he was in chains. So it shows the kind of conditions that religious minorities, or those that speak out about against the government's treatment of them, how conditions have deteriorated in recent years in India.
Yeah, and I know that you've said his death is a reminder of the egregious and ongoing persecution of India's minority religious communities. What more can you tell us about that situation? Also, particularly for Christians.
Yes. Well, so what we've seen is, this negative trajectory in India. So the BJP-led government, they're a Hindu nationalist government, and they have been embracing these policies that have really changed the culture in India. India has a long, thousands of years history of multi-religious, multi-ethnic communities living in peace together. And their constitution actually protects freedom of religion. And so it's really disconcerting to see all these laws being passed that really violate their own constitution. We see mobs acting with impunity, targeting minorities. The national government, as well as the state government, passing discriminatory laws and policies that limit the lawful activity of religious minorities, and violent crackdowns on dissent, as we're seeing. So this combination has made it a really difficult place for people of all faiths, Muslims, Christians alike. These anti-conversion laws, so many of them do seem to be targeted at Christians, where it's an easy way to just accuse a Christian of forcing someone to convert. And just the accusation alone is enough to cause violence. We certainly have not seen any forced conversions in India, so this law is being used as a way to persecute believers. The Foreign Contribution Regulation Act was amended in June by Parliament, and I think a lot of viewers probably heard about how organizations like Compassion International, Amnesty International were shut down as a way of keeping some of these Christian organizations from being able to do important humanitarian work, and also a closing of civil space society. So the media is facing intimidation and harassment. They're not speaking out the way they could about the religious freedom violations that are occurring, and so it's creating a dangerous environment for non-Hindus, but we're particularly seeing, of course, with the Muslim community and also with Christians.
Nadine, so much more we could talk about. I wish we had more time, but we have to leave it right there. Thank you so much for coming on and spreading awareness about this. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for highlighting these important issues. We appreciate that as well.